Okay, after much soul searching, I found out how to actually do this now. Here we go. So in order to get 12 grams, so what you would do is you'll reference the color code here. You remember our 12, let me see if I can put this underneath here, that way you guys can see it much more easier. All right. So in order to get the 12 grams that we're looking for, here we go, give me 1 second here. Okay, this will probably throw you off. You don't need an ounce measurement unless you really want to weigh it yourself and find out what the true ounce measurement. We said we got 3 ounces, right? But it wasn't it was actually incorrect what I told you there earlier. So this is actually how you get the right roller weights to tune in. So if you guys don't know this like I didn't at first, I made a guru call to Tyler. I gotta give him credit for that. And here we go. So he said it takes 11 gram. You know, so the 11 gram color code is sitting on orange. You take 11 grams and you take a 13 grams. So the 13 grams sitting on white. So you just want to see there, 13 grams. Well, you can't see it now because there's the little plastic, sorry. There we go. So you got the 13 grams is sitting on white. Okay, and then you got 11 grams sitting on yellow. So if you were to add those two together, this is how you add it, okay? Very elementary. Okay, you can do it with your calculator, but you have to use a bracket, okay? So you take 11 times 3, bracket it, plus you get bracketed 13 times 3, bracket it, and you get a total of 72. Now, I might be wrong, I might be off a little bit, but about 72, right? You take that, you divide it by 6, and boom, your number is 12 grams. So, or you could do this way, elementary with a calculator. 11 plus 11 plus 11, okay? Plus 13 plus 13 plus 13 equals 72. Take that number divided by how many rollers to make a set, which is 6, divided by 6, and you should get your 12 grams. So if you were to use this ounce measurement here, this will actually give you the real weight of what it actually is weighing, because sometimes it could be off a little bit. Let me zero this out. Still says 0.2 ounce. All right, turn it back on then. Okay, so let it reset, and I'm gonna go ahead and take these. So I'm actually gonna use the 11 grams, 3 of them, which is orange. They only come with 3 sets here, so you're gonna have to mix them up. So if you want 12 grams, you're gonna take 11, even though you think it's a higher number. You're not adding 11 plus 13 to get an odd number like I was trying to aim for the 12 one. I don't know why they put the 12 one here, but these just tell you these are 12 grams, that you're gonna have to take these and add it to something else to get a lot more or lesser weight or something like that. Okay, so here we go. Now I'm going to take a 13, which is white. I'm hoping this is the same white in 13. If this is 13, then this should weigh more than this white. So let's double check one. The orange one, I don't think it fell out of place, but I know this white one. So let's see what this white one does. So this is about 0.6 ounce, right? So if this weighs more, then this is actually our true 13 gram one. It weighs lesser. So this guy here belongs, well, actually, wait. 0.4 ounce. Okay. This guy here, 0.7 ounce. This guy weighs a little bit more by itself. So how could, maybe I mixed the white ones in the wrong spot. So assuming that this is heavier, this has to be the pretty much the weight here. So this is, again, is 0.6, right? And then this guy here is more hollow. You don't see too much solid centerpiece. 0.4. So this white one here would be this lesser one, 6 gram. Because the higher the number, the more heavier it is. So let's go and take this guy back up and move him on the 6th one. So almost mistaken that bad boy. Okay, so this hollow one weighs only 0.4 ounce. This heavier one weighs almost double. So 0.7 fluctuating at 0.8. So this guy right here is actually our 13 gram. So we'll get the 13 gram guy out, and we'll put back our 6 ounce here. That's why it's more hollow, because 6 gram should be almost half the weight of our 13 gram, right? Okay, and then we're going to make sure that this is actually the 11 gram. This one, 11 gram, should be lesser than the 16 gram orange one, because we have to make sure of it now, because it just seems so tricky now. I really believe that this didn't actually move, so I don't know why the 11 gram would be heavier than the 16 gram here, because the 16 gram should be heavier, right? But it looks more hollow though. Again, a lot of the rollers got shifted when I was moving the basket around. I'll double check that with the original one. In fact, here, let me bring a brand new one out, so that way I can actually see if it's actually that way. Okay, let's just finish this measurement real quick here. So this is more hollow. It weighs about 0.2 ounces. Yeah, I wish this can convert to grams for me, but I have to actually go offline and Google it. Okay, this one's supposed to be heavier. And so that one was what? Do this again. 0.2 ounces, or 0.2 fluctuating. And this one here, it's almost double. So we got 11 grams supposedly here, and this one says 16 grams. And I want to make sure if I am correct on that one or not. So let me go ahead and before I start finalizing this, but we know how to actually get the 12 gram measurement wise now, how this number works here. You just add 11 plus 11 plus 11, go with, you know, 13 plus 13 plus 13. So you add all 6 numbers together, get your total 72, divided by total of 6 to make a complete set of roller weights or sliders. And that will give you your 12 gram. But let me go and open a new pack here, or just see a new pack first to see if it actually came in like that, because I don't think they will repackage it to confuse us more. Why they would put the heavier one as 11 gram and the lighter one as 16 gram. So let's find out. Okay, here's another brand new one. It says unopened. You can look at it, see it's more solid on the 6 gram than it is on the 13 gram. So it is the way it is. You can see here on the 11 gram it's more solid than it is on the 16 gram here. So that's, I guess maybe they set it way so when you actually, because you have to mix them regardless, so you're not going to use your own roller weights. You're going to use exactly what's on the set. So I guess they designed it that way so when, if ever you mix this with something, it's supposed to give you that certain amount. Because if you do throw it off, it won't let you mix it properly. So maybe that's the way it was designed. So we did have it actually correct. So the thinner one's actually supposed to go to the higher number of grams, and the thicker one, which weighs more, actually goes to a lower gram number. The same thing with the yellow one here. So again, take a picture of it before you open it. It's originally what you see it at. So yeah, this was actually correct. So let's go and put this guy back in here, because if you look at over here, he's pretty much the same. So let's go and put this guy back in here. Okay, and then this one would be pretty much here, even though they weigh, you know, just to verify again if my theory is right. I would think that these are individually set to be like 13 grams, you know, because they just look like they weigh differently. Okay, so we'll get this guy out here. We'll weigh it again. Again, this is supposed to be our true 13 gram, but weighs lesser than our 6 gram, which is kind of awkward. Okay, again, these are tuning weights. They're not designed to work individually or just in the set of 3s. They're supposed to be tuned into within the same set. So this is 0.4 ounces, and when you put the 6 gram on there, see, it's heavier, but they put it in the 6 gram slot. So we'll just follow that lead. Then we're going to go and put that in there. We're going to take these 3 out because we're going to need to use them for tuning our 12 gram. We're going to play with these roller weights. Okay, and I'm going to take a measurement of these anyway so that you can see it. Then before we install into our Variator. Oh, got rolled in there. Cool. All right, let's take a measurement of ounces and then you guys can do the conversion. Okay, so this is it. I have 2.3 ounce. 2.3 ounce converted to grams, or 2.4 ounce. It's fluctuating now. Let me make sure it's zeroed out. Whoop, one more left. All right, so it's zeroed out. 2.3, 2.4, give and take. Okay, so we're gonna go and put these, offset them. So let's go and close this clamshell back up before we lose our spot here for these guys here. All right, so let's go ahead and put these guys ready to go. What you're gonna do is with the roller weights, you're gonna offset every other one. So you might also want to stick it to a pattern. So you're gonna do it this way with the open side, more like this, expose, lesser material cover up like this one. Then you're gonna keep it the same way. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and put this one in there. We'll put a white one. More material exposed, then less. Put in every other one. Same way with this one. We're gonna do the same thing. More material exposed, and don't drop it. Also can clean this a little bit too, by the way. See, this is Teflon coated, so it's not supposed to build some dirt. So let me clean this real quick first before we get started. And we're gonna go and take this outside now. I think we're ready to wrap this up. We're going to put this into our Variator, seal the deal on that one. Probably to put blue Loctite on it yet, because again, we're changing these out, so we're probably not going to put blue Loctite on the lug nuts to close the Variator part, but the clutch is ready, set, and go. Even though we didn't really change the clutch springs to the 1000 RPM one that we probably would do, we can leave that for another time. We're going to test these out as we are here. So I'll see you guys back out there in a second. Okay, we're back out here. We're going to go ahead and finish off installing our Variator weights. So let me go ahead and make sure it's on here. So there we go. There's our old one. All right, but we just want to clean it up a little bit. So we're going to go ahead and prepare it for our tuning weights that we're going to install. Here's our new disc one. Get this out of the way. Okay, I'm going to take a little shop rag here. Try to empty these guys out for a second. Get all that little dirt and debris buildup. Don't want to spray any chemical in here. If you need to, make sure it gets dried out, because the Teflon, you don't want to eat anything on there. You definitely don't want to put any lube or anything on there. No moly graphite or anything. Again, this is a dry clutch system. Just needs to be cleaned out. You know, all that little dirt builds up from the wear of the roller weights. Okay. Also a little crooked area here. You can get like a Q-tip again and just clean that little area where you can't get into the little greasy area. So we're going to go ahead and get some greasy area and get that cleaned out. So let me go and get a Q-tip on that one. Alright, so we're going to go and get that, all that little areas there, all that smudge and dirt. Get that right there. Quite a bit of them. You could probably take this and rinse it with water real quickly and wipe it down. But you don't want to put any brake cleaner or anything like that. It might take a little bit too much of that. The coating, the Teflon coating on there. We don't want to destroy the Teflon coating. So it's fine. Just kind of, you know, just get a Q-tip and work it. All the little crystal area there. See, all that little dirt gets trapped in there. Just use the Q-tip in the corner area. The big area you can wipe it down with a towel. A shop rag is fine. Just use the Q-tip for the areas that you can't get into with your fingers. Get the little corners here. The ramp, you can wipe that down with a towel. It's fine. There we go. Also feel to see if there's any like really serious indent groove or something where the roller weights are being stuck, or sliders here. Again, you can actually don't even use these sliders for these ones because it's Teflon coated already. You can just get away with using roller weights. You know, NCY one, that's why they make the roller weights, because they made this Teflon for you to be able to glide the roller weights easier now. So it might be overkill to use sliders really, but if you really want sliders, Dr. Pulleys are the best. You can see it hasn't worn out too much. They don't wear out too prematurely like roller weights do, the weight sliders. Okay, and then just use your shop rag and come back to it and try to get your finger in there and just clean all that little crystal area. One of these days I'm going to get that word right on the little crit area. Speaking like I'm a foreigner with an accent there. All right. All right, there we go. You can see where the belt rides on the other side of it too. Kind of inspect it. Make sure nothing like where the belt would sit on. So give this one a good wipe as well. All right, so before we put it back there, I just want to double check everything. We want to make sure it's clean as much as we can, and we want to You know, put a little light grease underneath here where the boss is, but not on the top of the boss where actually the belt might touch. So wherever the belt might come in contact with the boss, you definitely want to stay away from any kind of grease or lube there, because you just don't want it. See right here? So inside's okay. You could put moly graphite grease underneath inside, but not right here where the center is, because this is where it's exposed to the belt. So you could put a little bit on the side here maybe, where it rides inside the Variator, but you want to keep it. You can see why mine's not that dirty. If I put a lot of moly graphite grease, all the dirt will actually attract a little bit more, and it'll be a lot more clean up than just this alone. So this is just with a little bit of moly graphite grease. Imagine you had like, you know, thick kegs of it, then you'd really be struggling trying to clean it up. And we're gonna do is spray this a little bit down. That rust right there kind of bothers me on the Kickstarter gear. This is the very thing that holds this shaft of the Variator, which is probably the hardest part to pull out. A lot of people, you know, take a little piece of clamp and they put this here and they squeeze it out like that. So that was a doozy to take out. It wasn't fun, but it was necessary because you couldn't take your crankshaft or change or split open your crankcase without taking this guy out. And the only purpose of him is to help you start with a Kickstarter manually. Since you have a electric starter motor already, as long as it's good charged battery and a good electric starter, you should have no problem cranking your scooter over. Okay, whew. Nice and chilly willy here. As you can see, it looks very clean. So let me go and take some brake cleaner real quick and just hit this guy right here real quick here with that. And let's see if we can get that taken care of. Be right back. And we're getting ready to assemble everything now. I'm debating on using that Nordic or not right now because, well, I might want to test it out. We'll see. Non-chlorine brake cleaner. Right. Raw air cleaner. Okay, I guess I can do this spray here. Okay, so let's go ahead. Give it a good spray using the brake cleaner here. Not a lot left in there. Enough there to penetrate. All right. See there? We can use our towel here, wipe it down. And also maybe get to the other areas that you couldn't get before. Just let this air out for a little bit before you apply your moly graphite grease. You don't want to put it over top of brake fluid. So by the time you're done wiping everything else, it should be ready to go. Yep. It's hard to get all that rust out. It was semi-removed just a second ago, huh? So let me hit it one more time. Make sure I'm facing it. All right. Or WD-40, whichever you have available. But just make sure everything else is completely cleaned off and dry. This guy just don't want to stay on because of the incline of my wheel currently. There you go. I picked up the wheel a little bit, shoved it back. All right, it's ready to go. We're not worried about putting our Kickstarter assembly anymore in there. So that's one less weight, huh? The less weight you can put on your crankcase, the better sometimes, but the roller weights has to do with building up torque. So use the same rag here, just do a little bit more wiper. A little bit of, just a little bit slightly, a little brake mist is not gonna hurt it. I just want to give it that moisture to kind of wipe it really quickly. Make sure. Okay, now it's time to set our weights. Again, we're putting our weights in here now. If you can't remember it, the orange one was 11 grams, and the white one, I'm sorry, the orange one was 11 grams. So there's 3 sets here were 11 grams, and then the white one here was our 13 gram. Mix them 2 together out of this Prima tuning kit here. And we have a total of, sorry, it's going to shift a little bit so you can't tell, it's 11 gram was here actually. And the white one was 16 grams. I mean, the white one was 13 grams right here. And then this one, see how it rolls like that? This one was right here, 11 grams. It was the orange one. So we're going to go ahead and set that aside into our Variator housing here. So we're going to do every other one. Again, you want to keep it consistent. So if you have to open in right here, when I say open in, like more like this instead of closed like that, more like open like this. See more of the bronze showing the face versus the closed one. You want to do the same pattern all around, okay? So every other one. Go back in. Okay, every other one. Now I have mixed sliders before. I didn't see any problem with that. But I don't know if you can mix the 2 sliders and roller weights. So, but you can definitely mix weights. We're doing that now. So here we go. Keep the closure one, I guess, facing us here. Okay, I need an orange one now. Orange one. There we go. Orange one next. All right, almost there. White one next. Again, more of the closure and more of the exposed face. Exposed meaning the center copper or weight or whatever they have it. Okay, and then the last one here, more closure and more exposed. We're putting all the exposure, I mean more of the covered up one facing us, or in this direction anyway, counterclockwise anyway, let's say. Okay, so they're all looking the same. This is pretty much how I have it. You can see if I look this way, I can see more of the copper face. And I want to make sure they're consistent, so I'll spin it around just to make sure I see it doesn't look awkward. Cool. So it's all on there now. It's like, I almost feel like a pumpkin pattern. I almost feel like I'm holding a pumpkin pie or some sort. All right, so this is it. This is ready. Then we're gonna put our cover back on. Keep this here. So yeah, these are Dr. Pulley. I guess they're Variator slides, they call them. So they don't come off easily like the NCY one, so I kind of like those like that. But sometimes they're made to come loosely also, it can slide better, glide better. But yeah, you want to get that a good wipe as well. And the Dr. Pulley make their own Variators too. They're really nice. You can adjust them. They have different tappets. Hopefully maybe we'll get a chance to try that one out as well sometime. But we're going to stick with our NCY one because I think NCY still makes a nice complete setup. All right, there we go. And they come with 10 gram roller weights. So we dropped it from 15.5 now to 12 gram roller weights, assuming that these are correctly, you know, weighted out. But we know that we did the calculations correctly now. So here we go. We're going to put this on. Okay, you want to kind of clamp it yourself. Just hold it down like this before you slide it in. Now, when you slide in this way. So this right here, again, don't worry about putting moly graphite grease in here because you don't want to get this all smudged. You'll put it on the boss. So we're going to go ahead and get our boss out. The boss is that little tube here that we're going to be shoving in. That's called a boss. I don't know why it didn't do any payroll for us. But that's the boss. This is what they call a boss. All right, so let's go ahead and slide that in. Make sure it hits all the way to the very back. All right, it's going to tilt or tot a little bit, so you might need to put some pressure here. Just take your shop rag a little bit, just shove it for right now until you can get your boss ready. There you go. It sticks right there with a little shove at the shop rag. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put a little moly graphite grease, definitely all in here, all in the boss. So we'll take our moly graphite grease, and we're just going to take the cap, because that's all we really need. The cap goes a long way. I got this for a whole year. I probably haven't used like 1%, well, maybe 2%, let's say. So this will last a long, long time. It does have expiration though. Probably no more than good for 5 years maybe. But anyway, there it goes. Probably if it's not exposed to oxygen or air, it might last a little longer. So I'm just gonna scrape some off here from my cap as I need it. It looks like I'm almost finishing the cap part of it anyway. All right, so shove it in there. And if you want to, you can just shove it in like right here, and then it'll spread out throughout anyway. So you can just shove it in right there. You can see here, I got a little shoved in there. And then when you shove it in there more, you're gonna loop the rest of the tube in there anyway. So maybe you want to put a little bit more. So now I actually have to go for the big one, the big tube. So I'll just get my little pinky in here. Alright. Okay, so where we were, we're going to start with this guy here. Okay. So I'm going to put him in. Oh, that's okay. Yeah, you don't want to create too much of a mess. This might be a little bit too much. So I'm going to try to scrape it off a little bit. Or spread it elsewhere. It's fine. You do want to spread it a little bit here, just a little bit. The reason why is this is where it rides on the other side of the Variator fan, or, well, depending on where we're going, this is actually going all the way in to the back of the Variator housing. So we can leave that like that. Okay, so we're good. Then you want to shove your boss, and then you're going to just kind of spread out. So this whole piece right here should be enough to fill the whole rest of the area in, okay? So here we go. I'm holding the dry finger here on this side. Alright. Alright, take this out. Okay, try not to touch the thread if you can. You don't need moly graphite grease on the thread part. See there? And I'm spreading it. As I'm going, I'm spreading it before I go all the way in. So if you come from my side here, you can see what I'm doing. My finger's not blocking you. See that? I'm lubing it right as we speak. Now it's going to get some over here too because there's a lot. So there we go, see? Now it's kind of spread all the way across a little bit. See, you didn't have to go. It did it for you. So, okay. Make sure. We don't want like a gag of it in there, so let's go and I'm going to pull this out. Let me see, you can see it sticks now with the boss in there. I'm going to go ahead and try to get this off the thread. I don't really want the thread here. I want it to go and catch something right here. Again, I want to stay away from the belt exposure area. You just don't want the belt to get ricochet from the excessive moly grease at all. You want to keep that belt riding dry onto the surface right here. So, okay, now I'm going to wipe my pinky here. I'm going to take it back off and just see what's going on in the back there. Okay, make sure you grab it, hold the whole thing. You can see I'm holding it from behind. I'm grabbing it. I'm holding my finger right there where it closes, and the boss looks like it's about to glop out. Okay, you can press your boss too. It's not going to go further back because this plate here, the center plate here, blocks it. But yeah, it looks good. Yep. Can put a little moly graphite grease here too if you want in the lip area. Because it's rubbing on this one and spinning it. So it's gonna be free flow. Okay, so the moly graphite grease is holding on to the boss really well. I just don't want to have excessive, again, where it's near that plate there. So let's go and take it off like this and see how much it actually builds up on the very top of the. See that? Okay, good. So you don't want it to leave anywhere outside the boss. You want to stay in the boss because the minute it leaves outside the boss, it's going to start traveling, and when it travels right here, it's going to get caught up in your roller weights, and that's when you get all that dirty stickiness. So we'll just make sure we kind of leave it alone. In fact, let's wipe it a little off. Let it put some more on it because there's a lot excessive one still in there. So we'll take our shop rag. Go ahead and just wipe this off here. And the new ones will imprint it a little bit more again, so we don't have to worry about it not getting enough graphite grease here to spin this one. You do want graphite grease here, but you don't want it to build up so much where it ricochets off. Just lost one of the sliders, just popped itself off. Okay, because there's enough here on this top already to be able to re-grease this part. So we're gonna go and clean this excessive one. But you can see you don't have to do it like me, kind of perfect as far as trying to get everything in detail, but I like it this way because I can assure myself that I didn't overdo something, which I probably did overdo in the cleaning part. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna let the boss come to rest here. I'm gonna drag the boss off of our wooden stand there, making sure I grip it. You can see I'm getting a little moly graphite grease here because I was touching the boss here, and this is not really where you want so much moly graphite grease at all. Here, you're gonna get on there. It's good. You can just wipe it off. You don't want to cause any belt slipperage. That would cause your belt to spin and perhaps prematurely. Okay, so you want to keep this area dry too, except for the very tip where it meets the Variator fan. You can put a little bit of graphite grease there, but for the most part you just want to get this all dried away. This should not have any exposure to any grease or anything there. You can see here it's like an even burst, so that means the belt is riding. Now the belt only comes to a certain point. You can see it'll start making an indent, but this one I can feel it's smooth, so that's smooth all the way. So this is good. This Variator housing is good. They call it Variator ramp or something, and the other one's the fan ramp on the other side, and you have the fan. If you had a fan, let's say, ours is not going to be a fan anymore, but it still have the ramp, and that's what it is. With the NCY one, what it is you notice that their ramp is a little bit more vertical than the stock one. The stock one's a little bit more down, so the belt can actually ride up higher because it's a little bit more pressing against it for vertical. More vertical incline, I should say, huh? Alright, so anyway, this one's ready to go. Woo, almost. Oh, belt slipping here and there. So you gotta hold two loose things. You gotta clamp this and hold the boss too, and hold this as well from protruding out, because if it protrudes out, this thing will still fall. Don't worry about the roller weights. They go all around, so as long as it's not flipped, you can inspect again as long as the roller weights. In fact, here, why don't we do this just to double check. I hate to take this off, because when I take it off, you're gonna see that moly graphite grease mark. I'm not gonna wipe it again, but you'll see it though. See, it's sticky enough. See there? It imprints a new set of moly graphite grease. But that's okay. You want some moly graphite grease there. But you can see the roller plate, as long as it's not, you know, tilted where it's facing you, then you're not in trouble. So you're good. And let's make sure we align these slides. And let's go and close this for good now. Well, for a while. We'll see how the 12 grand does, huh? All right. So we'll push this guy back. All right, he's ready to roll. We'll put our belt. Now we're not putting our CVT gasket anywhere. We don't need it anymore, nor do we need the CVT cover, because next time you'll see it's gonna have the ankle biter. So, here we go, here we go. All right, we do want to get our belt in there now. Even though we haven't got this secure yet, maybe we should get this one secure first, then we could squeeze the belt on there. The belts, some of them are not bi-directional, so please make sure you pay attention if they do have like some kind of arrow indicating it. So since this one's not, this one's probably is bi-directional. It doesn't really matter, but I kind of like to face the lettering just in case if I need to pop it out and read it. Like when I read it from the top, I want to have my lettering facing this the same way I was, you know, tilting my head down to look at it. I don't want it facing this way. Even though it's bi-directional, I mean you can go either this way or that way. Aesthetically, I kind of like it to have it right here. And it doesn't really matter where it starts at too, by the way. So, you know, it's going to spin, it's going to adjust itself, so it's going to move all around. But I'm just going to put it here. So be careful, there's a Bando makes it in two factories. There's one from China and then there's one from Japan. They are authentic. The one from